Attention! I've just been handed some urgent news story and I need you to sit down and stop what you're doing and listen!
Hi, I'm Ron Burgundy, and I'm here reporting with Channel 4 News. My guest today is Sarah Stenbring. Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes, Ron, I can hear you. I'm right beside you.
I have a couple questions for you today.
Absolutely.
Please tell me about your time at the Ottawa Children's Treatment Centre.
Well, let me tell you, Ron, it was one of the most enjoyable experiences of my life. I got to work with some of the most helpful and welcoming staff. I got to meet kids who have the most amazing personalities. For most of my time there, I followed 2 physios around and helped facilitate children's involvement in both group and individual sessions. I also got the opportunity to work with some occupational therapists as well as physio assistants. So overall, it was a rewarding and enjoyable experience.
That's good to hear. But you do know I'm kind of a big thing, right?
I wasn't aware, but that's good to know.
I love scotch, scotchy, scotch, scotch. Here it goes down to my belly. Welcome back, Ottawa. Welcome back. Sarah,
Yes.
Can you please tell me 2 barriers that you encountered while working over there?
Well, Ron, one of the biggest barriers that I had to deal with had to do with time constraints. Most of the sessions are only 45 minutes to an hour, so that left very little wiggle room for children's attention spans. And as you know, they get distracted pretty easily.
I do know about that.
So I really struggled initially with keeping my sessions focused on the exercise themselves and keeping the children's attention on me instead of what was going around them. Unfortunately, a lot of the sessions happened in quite an open space where other treatment sessions were going on. So as the weeks went on, I devised a plan where I would come to each session with both my initial plan as well as a backup plan in case the children became distracted. I also brought music and videos so that it would motivate them to concentrate on the exercise. So that it was hard to overcome at first, but towards the end, I think I really had it down pat.
You're quite the superstar.
Thank you. Well, the second one, since you asked for 2, was trying to get my message across to the children as they were almost all cognitively impaired. It took a lot of patience on my part, but in the end, I think I did a good job. I had to really go home some nights and figure out a better way to communicate with them where they both understood what we were doing as well as how to do it. Most of them could not comprehend why we were doing the activities, but that didn't matter as long as they were performing them with proper form.
What are 2 highlights of your time there?
Well, Ron, I could tell you about 20 highlights of my time there.
We have all the time.
Awesome. So if I had to pick 2 highlights, one of them would definitely have to do with a little 5-year-old girl that I treated, who we can refer to as patient C for this interview. She had a very weak lower body, as well as some coordination and balance issues. So one of the goals for her was to have her go from half kneeling to standing. So to us, that seems like a fairly easy task. But for her, since she's physically impaired, it was quite difficult. Her glutes, which are her butt muscles, were fairly weak, and that made it extremely difficult for her to hold the half-kneeling stance. So the first session that we did then, she was unable to hold the position for more than 1 or 2 seconds. But as the weeks went on, we really worked on that, as well as other exercises that strengthened her glutes. A couple weeks after that, she was able to do half kneeling for 30 seconds in the proper form. And then I think it was probably a week later where I came in and she said, "Sarah, I've been practicing half kneeling at home." And I was so excited, and she said, "Okay, I really, really have to show you." And I said, "All right, let's try it out for 30 seconds." And she counted to 100, and she did that on both sides, and it was probably the most rewarding feeling to see something happen after all the hard work that you've put into it. But for the second highlight, it would probably be more general. It was really getting to know all the children there. I've worked with children my whole life, but these kids were amazing. They had amazing personalities. They had stories to tell that all I wanted to do was to spend time with them. So the best part about it, though, was having them recognize me in the morning when I came into placement and running up and giving me a big hug and saying my name as if I was someone who actually worked at the facility. And to them, I guess I was an adult, even though sometimes I don't classify myself as that.
Hey, you! Come see how good I look.
I don't think they're coming.
Oh, okay. Well, can you tell me 2 strengths and 2 areas of improvement that you came to realize during this placement?
I guess I'll start off with the 2 areas of improvement. I think that one of them would have been to be more proactive. I often waited for my supervisor to tell me what to do at the beginning of the placement because I felt uncomfortable in the setting and I felt like I didn't really belong since I was just a student. This was especially evident during my evaluation. That's actually one of the criticisms that they had told me. So that was around journal entry 14, so in January. Since then, I made an effort to go and do things by myself and set up sessions by myself without my supervisor telling me. My confidence in feeling like one of the team grew as well, so that helped. Second area of improvement would have to be trusting my intuition. So a lot of the time I didn't have the confidence in myself to speak up. So there was one point in time, I believe it was journal entry 11, which was still in November, where I saw patient C not being able to walk down the stairs forwards, and in my head I thought, like maybe she can go sideways and that'll be easier on her legs and her balance. So finally I made the suggestion, and it ended up being extremely successful, which felt really, really good.
That deserves a good pat on the back.
Thank you. So 2 strengths, I think one of them was definitely my ability to communicate and interact with both the patients and their parents. I'm a pretty outgoing person to begin with, so it was pretty easy to me, and I think maximizing that really helped me create a rapport with them, and that was throughout my placement. A second strength would be my ability to apply concept learned in school into the placement setting. So I applied not only a concept called constraint-induced movement therapy, but also SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So those SMART goals were applied to kneeling that we had spoken about before, whereas the constraint-induced movement therapy was actually part of a group called the constraint-induced movement therapy group. Oh. Ron, we're airing.
Ooh, that smells quite pungent. How would you sum up this experience?
Honestly, it was one of the most enjoyable and intellectually stimulating experiences of my life. I learned so much about not only the profession of physiotherapy, in particular working with kids with neurological disabilities, but I also learned a lot about myself and both what I am good at and what I should really work on to improve. Is your turtleneck itchy? Yes. Okay. To improve on in order to be a better physio in the future. For everyone who is thinking about going to Ottawa Children's Treatment Centre for their placement, do not hesitate. It was amazing, and you will do as long as you put the effort in and really open up to both the kids and the staff. Thank you for having me, Ron. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're so very welcome. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast, really good. Everyone on the floor, liked it. Really a lot of hustle. You stay classy, Ottawa. I'm Ron Burgundy.